So just the other day I posted to Instagram about transitioning from a rifle to a pistol and how I did it wrong. So the quality of this video is less than I originally anticipated, but that will come over time. We work with the tools that we have, right? Okay, so my goal is to show you guys how I review my own videos and how I grow from the experiences that I previously have. So I hope you guys are able to enjoy this, and I hope that I can share with you how I review these things.
Maybe.
Up.
Target.
Up.
So the first issue that I see is small, but if I don't pick myself apart, I'm not going to get any better. So when I get that dead trigger on the second round out of my rifle, I'm not really disappointed in the fact that it was a light primer strike or maybe the bolt didn't seat forward all the way. I don't care why it happened. But as it happens, if you watch closely, my body moves forward just a touch. Now what that means is that's probably happening every single time I pull the trigger and I just don't even notice it. Maybe I'm getting ahead of the recoil and staying on top of that gun, but odds are I'm pushing that gun forward every time I'm pulling the trigger, which means I'm pushing the muzzle in a different direction and it could be causing me to miss. Okay, so I have a dead trigger, hammer's down on the rifle. What do? Obviously I attempted to put that gun on safe. It didn't move because the hammer's down. It's not going to. Didn't let it bother me. I kept moving it out of the way and I came up with a pistol. Now, let me interject real quick. We're here to talk about what I'm doing wrong and how I can learn from that. But as I'm watching through these videos after a range day, it's nice to be able to look at something on that checklist and say, hey, I've been working on transitioning from rifle to pistol and trying to make it as seamless as possible. It may not be perfect, but it's nice to see some success and be able to tell yourself, hey, this is paying off, you're doing a good job. Alright, now back to what I'm doing wrong. When I'm making that transition from this target over here to this target over here, I'm moving the gun with my eyes. Now, I may not be tracking my sights the entire way, but my head, my eye speed, and my hand speed is moving the same way. What that means is I'm holding my eyes back by trying to keep this in my sight the entire time. Sometimes it's safer to look before we start driving that gun over there. Additionally, it's going to be faster, and I don't run the risk of over-traveling. Because when our eyes are moving, sometimes our hands can come past it or fall short a little bit. So what I should be doing is take that shot, snap my eyes over, find my location, and drive my sights, punching it back out as if it's the first time I'm coming up out of a holster. So that was issue number 2. My eyes are moving with my sights.
Isn't there one on there?
So this next one is a little bit weird, but it's something that I've caught myself doing a couple of times, and it took me a little while to figure out why is that happening and what's going on, because this wasn't an issue before. So, the sling. That sling got a little bit caught up. So here's what happened. I made my transition, I worked with my pistol, did whatever it was that I was going to do, and as I came back up, check this out. So what I should have done when I came back to grab my gun was keep tension on the rifle with the sling as I turn it back up to face the ejection port. I want to see what's going on. My goal is to get this facing me. But what I did was I started by picking the stock up, and that sling slipped behind my magazine. So I pulled that gun up a little bit first, and then I tried to cant it in. And that's what happened. It started to bind up a little bit. So as opposed to pulling that gun away from me and turning it, I picked it straight up, which gave the sling a little bit of slack. It slipped over, and then turning it was going to be an issue. I still had my pistol in my hand. I was still ready to fight. I let a few rounds off. I was shooting at a small target, but I had to fix this before I could get the gun back up. Okay, so malfunction clearing on my rifle. We all know what I did, and it's not what I trained to do. So I think my issue is that I had been shooting suppressed a couple times that day, and I had been getting used to a couple stovepipes because some of my guns were overgassed. But that's beside the point. What I tried to do was clear a malfunction that wasn't even there. The bolt did not stay open on an empty magazine. What I should have done was recover that gun, make sure that it was seated all the way, pull that charging handle back, and if it stayed back, well, grab a new one and get back to shooting. So as long as I'm able to stay within my just tap rack, that's all you have to do. The gun will tell me everything that I need to know. Anyway, that's kind of it. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys have more specific questions about that kind of stuff or really any videos that I post, just let me know. I hope to be doing more of these down the road. I want to be able to get in depth in my learning process, not necessarily teaching and coaching, but just things that I'm able to pick up on how I can be improving, and hopefully you guys can get something out of that too. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.